I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcasts. When the Homestead girls golf team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
Area sports looked a lot different back in 1952 when Jim Kelly opened his first dealership in Fort Wayne. 70 years later, that original dealership has grown into the Kelly Automotive Group with 14 brands in 3 locations, including our new Fort Wayne Auto Mall and Kelly Chevrolet on Lima Road. Fort Wayne continues to support our local teams and businesses. Thank you for 70 years. We could have never done it without you. Visit us today at drivekelly.com.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Thad Goff, and welcome to this edition of High School Basketball on SummitCitySports.com. We've got Blackhawk Christian taking on Heritage Night. Now, the varsity game is scheduled to start at 7:30. However, the JV game is still going on. In fact, it's just about to go into overtime. So we will come back in a little bit as we get ready to start the varsity game, but we'll see how this overtime plays out in the JV game and come back for the varsity game after some messages here on SummitCitySports.com.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
I like to stay active. I try to come in here at least 3 times a week and just get my 1-hour workout in. Since September, I think I've put on 22 pounds of muscle. I think my vertical has gone up plus 5 inches. I've gotten a lot faster since then too. I can hit the ball further. In football, I can push people around more. It's basketball easier too. Just being stronger just makes everything easier.
Brandon started with Jim Rath's basketball training. After one of the sessions, he came up to me and he wanted to know if he could do more. So Brandon started the EDGE program in November, in addition to the club training he was doing, because it offers personalized programming for his athletic goals. PSN Performance uses a long-term athletic development pyramid. At such a young age, it's really good for Brandon to set the foundation of athletic development. Since he is in season all year round, he has to be ready for all the physical demands. So he does a lot more strength training, just because in basketball he sprints and cuts a lot. In baseball he's doing a lot of sprinting. In football he does a lot of sprinting and jumping. So preparing him to withstand the physical demands of those games, he does a lot more strength training.
I like all the lower body stuff the best. I do goblet squats, split squats, back squat, front squat, a lot of those. Tyler knows what's best for me. He always points me in the right direction. He just pushes me to go harder every day.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcasts. When the Homestead girls golf team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
I just want to be the best in basketball. So I want to be the greatest of all time to play women's basketball. So I just know there's people out there working just as much as me. So I just want to keep working hard and keep that intensity going. And so one day I can pursue my dreams of being in the WNBA and playing overseas. So I just want bigger things to come in my life.
I remember when I started in March, she could do 0 pull-ups. She did have a great 25-inch vertical when she first started. She only weighed 150 pounds. One of our main mottos is do the simple things exceedingly well, and that's where we started. So we started the foundation, building her base, and now we've got to basically the peak of our pyramid of things that we can do with her. So we didn't skip any levels. We did all the basics, and she got really, really good at them, and that's what's led her to become as great as she is at basketball and performance.
I've watched her grow, the confidence-wise, the strength-wise, the jumping ability, her footwork. It's really amazing to kind of watch for a girl her size, being 6'3", 6'4", to move like she can move and do the thing and be as agile as she is, along with the strength.
At the University of St. Francis, you'll find everything you need to succeed, from business, nursing, and science.
Has always been here, and they're getting better. I'm watching, Summit City Sports, man, they're doing an awesome job. And I mean, that's a plug. Them dudes are doing an outstanding job. And I'm able to be in Nashville and watch games on YouTube that they're broadcasting, and I'm seeing the talent. And it is just truly outstanding. And I mean, you guys have seen the talent that's in the NFL now from Fort Wayne, Indiana, the talent that's coming up now, and the talent that, is just here, man. It's really.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Blackhawk Christian School in this game between Blackhawk Christian and Heritage Christian. Heritage Christian out of Indianapolis. Blackhawk Christian from right here in Fort Wayne. And we're going to have the national anthem in just a second. We'll tell you a little bit more about these two teams when we come back. I'm actually going to stay here, but we will listen in to the national anthem here on SummitCitySports.com.
And your Blackhawk Christian Braves, guided by head coach Mr. Matt Ross. Blackhawk Christian School is pleased to sponsor this athletic contest. As a Christian school, we value the need for good sportsmanship and remind everyone that high school athletics is an educational event. In keeping with the spirit and intent of interscholastic athletics, we ask all players, coaches, and spectators to cheer in a positive manner for their team, show respect for their opponents, and honor the decisions made by the officials. Please maintain appropriate behavior at all times so that together we can bring honor to our Lord Jesus Christ. Would you please rise for a word of prayer, followed by our national anthem.
Please pray with us. God, we're grateful for the opportunity to compete tonight. We pray for both schools that in the spirit of competition that the players would give their best efforts, that no one would be injured on either team, and ultimately that the attitudes and actions of coaches, fans, players here tonight, Lord, that we bring glory to you in everything that we do. In name we pray, amen. Now the national anthem will be sung by Blackhawk Christian Senior Taylor O'Neill.
The starters for tonight's contest. First, for our guest, the Eagles from Heritage Christian. A senior number 3, Dylan Doss. Junior number 10, Landon Schnippel. Senior number 11, Miles Colvin. Another senior number 13, Nolan Duncan. And a junior wearing number 22, Cole Loudon. Ladies and gentlemen, here are your starters for the Blackhawk Christian Brave. He is a sophomore standing 6'8", he wears number 4, Kellen Pickett. You'll find him way down deep. He's a junior wearing number 64. 6'4", number 11, Isaac Smith. Down on the block, you'll find senior at 6'6", wearing number 13, Josh Fritz. You'll find him anywhere, anytime, wearing number 23, 6'3", and senior Jimmy Davidson. And here's your wingman. He's a senior standing 6'4", number 30, Gabe Sutton.
Well, with that, we are ready to start this game between the Braves of Blackhawk Christian and the Eagles of Heritage Christian from Indianapolis. Heritage Christian, part of Class 3A, Sectional 27. Blackhawk Christian, part of Class 2A, Sectional 37. And, of course, sectionals are still a ways away, but Blackhawk Christian looking for a team against an Indianapolis school. Braves are 16-3. They snapped a 2-game losing streak with losses to Dwenger and Wayne. They snapped that streak by going on the road and beating Snyder in convincing fashion, 96-59. And Kellen Pickett wins the opening tip. That's Gage Sefton who catches it. Heritage Christian is 10-8 coming into this game. They've won their last 2 against LaPel and Indy Roncalli. Sefton leaning in, too strong. Josh First with the rebound. He puts it in. And in no time at all, Josh First is on the board. Josh First, the younger brother of Caleb First. Josh may not have quite the height that Caleb does, but he's a plenty good athlete, good rebounder, and a good scorer. That 3 is missed by Dylan Doss, and Jimmy Davidson comes up with a loose ball. Taken away by the Eagles. Coming back the other way is Cole Loudon. Loudon with a floater right over Davidson. Could not get it to go, and Sefton controls it for Blackhawk Christian. Here's Davidson into the paint, lost it on the way up, and it's taken away by the Eagles. Landon Schnippel got a hand on it, and M.J. Colvin, the leading scorer for this Eagles team, gets fouled in transition. Isaac Smith gets called for the foul. Miles Colvin averages 20 points per game, 20.8 if I'm not mistaken. He is easily the best scorer on this Heritage team, and he gets the Eagles on the board to start out this one. Fans in the student section decked out in pink tonight. I've got to imagine there's some cancer awareness event going on here. Try to get that information to you when we can as Gage Sefton races across the timeline. He finds first on the interior. First couldn't finish. Lost the ball, and it's taken away by Colvin. Quick up the floor to Schnippel, and Schnippel gets by the defenders to give Heritage the lead. Blackhawk Christian does have the better record of these two schools. However, Heritage comes from a higher class, Class 3A. Foul is called here on Dylan Doss. Now, not too long ago, Blackhawk Christian was able to beat teams from higher classes, really good teams from higher classes even. They beat Leo 2 years ago on the road. Leo was in Class 3A, and that Leo team ended up going to state. Of course, so did Blackhawk Christian. The Braves, unlike the Lions, ended up winning state. First, going down the baseline, trying to get around defenders. It's knocked away. Nolan Duncan with the block, and it's Colvin the other way, blocked. Isaac Smith blocked the shot and went for the lob to first. Pickett got fouled trying to put it in, and did Pickett chip a tooth? I don't know, he might be bleeding. That might be worth sending the trainer out. Nolan Duncan called for the foul. Pickett's trying to tough it out. The athletic trainer here at Blackhawk Christian is Ann Laborde. Officials, of course, usually are good at spotting that kind of stuff as to whether a player might be bleeding, as Pickett could not hit the free throw. He does get the second, and this game is tied. Pickett averages over 13 points per game. He's the third leading scorer on Blackhawk Christian. Braves use a little pressure. Braves girls basketball team likes to use a lot of pressure. Unfortunately, their season ended in the first round of sectionals. It is a well-coached team, though. Up until this year, the Lady Braves had won 3 straight sectional titles, led by head coach Steph Gongaware. As Dylan Doss is running the point for the Eagles, Sefton guarding him. It's man-to-man defense for the Braves. They get the ball to Nolan Duncan. Duncan feeds it to the corner. Traveling is going to be called on Cole Loudon. And we do apologize because early on in this broadcast we had some technical difficulties. We are back to the broadcast at the moment, and we hope to be back for the rest of this game. You're watching us on Facebook. Thankfully, despite the fact that you can't watch us on Facebook anymore, you can watch us on YouTube and on SummitCitySports.com. Pickett a little bit short, and he's outboarded by Miles Duncan. They get it back outside to Dylan Doss. Doss was thinking about a three until Pickett closed in on him. Spinning around is Schnippel. Schnippel's shot would not fall. Here's Sefton with a quick motor into the paint. No good. He drove through a sea of black and could not get his shot to go. That's a long three by Colvin, and it's no good. Jimmy Davidson with the rebound. He's the son of the late head coach Mark Davidson. Current head coach Matt Roth was once an assistant coach under Mark Davidson. He knows the style, knows the schemes of Mark Davidson. As Sefton trying to get it going, but has not gotten a shot to go from the field. But there is MJ Colvin getting the jam. Spinning in his first, trying to find his shot. Couldn't find it there, but he's fouled. He does have a made field goal in this game, but for the most part, he has been well defended. Heritage has gotten a lot of bodies around him, but first will go to the line. Nolan Duncan called for the foul. First is able to hit the first free throw.
Contest for the Eagles, we have number 23, Isaac Wilson, and number 30, Andrew Wiggins.
Yes, that is Andrew Wiggins who just entered the game. Not to be confused with Andrew Wiggins of the NBA, of course. One for two goes first. The rebound comes to Sefton. Pickett, not one to normally shoot the three. Isaac Smith was calling for it. Sefton makes the catch. He's going to fire a long three, and he buries it. Gage Sefton from way downtown. Well, fake pass, they get the ball to Doss. Braves take their second lead of the game as Sefton is on the board for the first time, and Josh First commits his first foul.
Blackhawk fouls called on number 13, Josh First. That was his first team second. At the line for the Eagles, number 30, Andrew Wiggins, shooting two.
This is Andrew Wiggins, the senior, at the line. But he could not connect on the free throw well. We saw Josh First go 1 for 2 from the line a minute ago. And now a similar thing perhaps about to happen to Wiggins. Wiggins does get one. Sefton finds Pickett inside the zone, and the ball's knocked away. It was off of Heritage. And Luke Peters will come in for Heritage. They get it into Josh First. Sefton with a pull-up jumper. Got it. Gage Sefton starting to find his shot. He's got 5 points early in this one. He had the space and was able to knock down that mid-range J. As Doss comes across the timeline, gets into the paint. Sefton blocks it. It was Sefton, though, who knocked it out of bounds, so the ball will stay with Heritage. Long inbound all the way to Dylan Doss. He'll hand it off to Colvin. Colvin, the leading scorer coming into this game for Heritage Christian. He passes it off in midair. You'll notice a difference in styles of defense, and that's a made three by Colvin, plus the foul. Blackhawk Christian playing a lot of man-to-man, whereas Heritage Christian has been playing mostly zone. That zone has caused some trouble, particularly for the Blackhawk bigs. Now, Sefton has been able to hit his jump shots against those zones, but all of a sudden, Heritage starting to struggle from the stripe. Davidson into the paint. His floater is blocked. Luke Peters got a hand on it for the Eagles. Colvin rises up. Not this time. Davidson has the board as we approach 2 minutes to play here at Mark Davidson Court on the campus of Blackhawk Christian. First, trying to spin around the defender Wiggins, and a foul is called. Actually called on Isaac Wilson, number 23, not number 30. And more free throws coming up for First. So far, just one made field goal in the game for him. But he has shot it fairly well from the line. That last one, he gives the Braves the lead. 2 for 3 is First so far. 3 for 4. Aiden Muldoon has come into the game for Blackhawk Christian as Heritage is able to beat the press. There goes Colvin, and a little wraparound foul there on Isaac Smith. That's 2 early fouls on Smith. And Heritage will look to tie the game or retake the lead. They have come to play in hostile territory. These Indy teams usually give you a good battle. Colvin, the turnaround jumper, would not fall. Who's got it? Eventually it comes back to Wiggins, and Wiggins is able to put it in. They try to slip it inside to first, and he jams it home. The Eagles have done such a great job on first defensively, but he got ahead of the pack on that last possession and was able to jam it home. Colvin slows down. He's got Sefton guarding him. Plenty of space there for Dylan Doss. Couldn't connect on the three. Smith has the board for Blackhawk. This is Sefton who finds Pickett. Pickett trying to back down against Peters. Pickett right around the bucket, and he scores. Kellen Pickett's got his first field goal of the game, and Heritage Christian can hold for the final shot of the quarter here. We're down to 35 seconds. You don't have a shot clock to worry about in Indiana high school basketball. Another three ball by Doss. That one wouldn't fall. Doss has been looking for one of those to fall all night, has not gotten one. Sefton hit a three earlier in this game. He'll find Pickett here. Smith is open from downtown, but he missed the three. First trying to keep it alive. It's recovered by Wiggins. Isaac Smith can make you pay when you leave him open that much. A drive to the basket blocked by Pickett. Desperation heave wouldn't go. Blackhawk Christian with the lead, 15-11 at the end of one. But the Eagles of Heritage Christian have come to play. We'll be right back for the start of the second quarter in a moment on SummitCitySports.com.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Area sports looked a lot different back in 1952 when Jim Kelly opened his first dealership in Fort Wayne. 70 years later, that original dealership has grown into the Kelly Automotive Group with 14 brands in 3 locations, including our new Fort Wayne Auto Mall and Kelly Chevrolet on Lima Road. Fort Wayne continues to support our local teams and businesses. Thank you for 70 years. We could have never done it without you. Visit us today at drivekelly.com.
15-11, Blackhawk Christian is leading against Heritage Christian. However, the Eagles have come to play. Used a lot of 2-3 zone early on. And while Josh First does have 7 points in the game, he's been well defended and well contested for much of the night by these Eagles. This is Dylan Doss running the point for the Eagles. He gets it to Wiggins away from the basket, First guarding him. Wiggins one-on-one right over First, couldn't put it in, kept alive though. Kept alive by Luke Peters. High screen set by Peters. Wiggins spins through traffic. Pickett got a hand on it and recovered. Sefton trying to outrun everybody. Through a crowd and he turns it over. Wiggins the strip steal. And Colvin with the jam in transition. Colvin averages 20 points per game, and both of his field goals so far today have been when he's gotten out ahead in transition. Looks like a 1-3-1 zone perhaps this time by the Eagles. Aiden Muldoon can make some things happen when he's in off the bench. Smith from the corner hits a three. Isaac Smith with his first three of the game, and that is a specialty of his. They feed the ball to Wiggins, late pass to Peters. Peters a little double clutch, maybe even triple clutch, and he's able to put it home. Three ball Kellen, Pickett in and out. Smith keeps it alive, back to Pickett. Sefton had space, would have been a long three though if he had shot it. Off the hands of Muldoon. If he touches it, that's over and back, but he also had Isaac Wilson bearing down on him, going for a transition bucket. So Muldoon able to stop that with 6:22 to go in the second quarter. Loose ball, but recovered by Loudon. Muldoon staying with him the whole way. Blackhawk Christian's biggest win of the season so far was against Homestead as Miles Colvin hits a 3-ball. And this game is tied at 18-all. Sefton, the crossover, through traffic, he's fouled. Gage Sefton has 5 points already in the game. He's going to the line for 2 free throws, trying to give the lead back to Blackhawk. They called that last foul on Cole Loudon. Sefton is a 1,000-point scorer. It was on homecoming night when he achieved that milestone. And he was recognized there on homecoming night. Sefton was also the homecoming king. He goes 1 for 2 here. Braves do retake the lead, but a putback after the miss by Kellen Pickett. Well, the bigs here at Blackhawk Christian can make a big impact. Pickett stretching the lead out for the Braves and turning what would have been a 1-point possession into a 3-point possession. Here's Colvin from the corner. He's hit 1-3 already. Not that time. Muldoon has it. Muldoon's just 5'10". He's the smallest guy on the Blackhawk Christian roster, and yet he was the one who got the rebound on that possession. That was blocked. I think it was Colvin who got the block for Heritage. Traveling is the call. Landon Schnippel shuffled his feet before he drove to the basket. Sefton rises up. He's fouled on the shot. And of course, every athlete has a journey. Every athlete, I should say, who's been a 1,000-point scorer has a journey to that 1,000-point mark. Sefton has been a starter these last 2 seasons for Blackhawk Christian. And while he was a backup as a sophomore, he did get to start a few games in the absence of Marcus Davidson. Davidson, part of 2 state championships, a key part of 2 state championships that Blackhawk Christian won. But while he was sick for a period of the season, Sefton stepped in and took his place. And even when Sefton was coming off the bench, we did see shades of what he could do. We knew he could drive, we knew he could score, we knew he could shoot from the outside. And he has done that and then some since becoming a starter. Lob inside. Muldoon got a hand on it, and the Braves take over. Isaac Smith will set the screen for Sefton. He's got first down low. First draws the double team. High floater, a little bit too strong. Sefton gets the steal, puts it up, and connects. Sefton with the theft in the bucket. That puts him up to 10 points as Colvin tries to answer with a 3. Offensive board knocked away, but a foul, and Wiggins is going to the line. 4:03 to go. They're going to call that one on Aiden Muldoon. Andrew Wiggins will go to the free throw line here. And that's not to be confused with Golden State Warriors star Andrew Wiggins, the former Kansas Jayhawk, who also played for the Minnesota Timberwolves, which is a little bit closer to home for him than Golden State, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what province Andrew Wiggins, the NBA star, is from, but he is Canadian, as Colvin puts it in off the miss. Miles Colvin up to 10 points for this game. Trying to help keep Heritage in it. Looks like they're still in the 1-3-1 zone. Pickett calling for it. Muldoon couldn't get it to him, and first is fouled. One of those pink-clad fans over there in the student section had the ball come right to him. Dylan Doss is called for that foul. Well, Josh First has been surrounded by defenders most of the night, and that can happen when you play a zone defense. He does have 7 points, but only 2 field goals so far. But First is shooting it well from the free throw line. First goes 2 for 2. This is Dylan Doss across the timeline. He finds Schnippel. Schnippel trying to spin around Pickett, and Wiggins will let it fly. His jumper won't go, and there's Muldoon. There's your 5'10" guard getting the rebound. And there's Muldoon racing down the floor. Muldoon's got some quickness about him. Pickett knocks down that 3 ball. His second attempt from downtown, second time's a charm. Biggest lead of the game for Blackhawk Christian. Wiggins tried to go over Pickett, but Pickett knocks the rebound into Smith's hands. Sefton slows down and shoots and connects. Gage Sefton had his eyes on that 3 right away. And a timeout is called. Looks like it was called by the Eagles. And it was called by Heritage. We do have the official word there. While they take a timeout, we're going to get some words in from our sponsors. I think they've been waiting for us to call out their names ever since this broadcast started. Big Eyed Fish has been around the Northeast Indiana area for generations. Like their Facebook pages for updated promotions and enjoy the best fish in Fort Wayne in a family-friendly environment at Big Eyed Fish. Kelly Automotive Group is celebrating their 70th year in business. Shop all 14 of their dealerships and contact Kelly Automotive Group at brands@drivekelly.com. Gage Sefton with a pair of 3s in this one. Get a chance, we'll show you our latest Traction AP replay. In fact, we've got replays of both of his 3s so far in this game. Sefton now with 13 points. It's obviously not uncommon for a player to go from a backup role to a starting role, and that's been the case with Gage Sefton. That ball is tipped by Muldoon, and then Davidson hustles after it. Sefton across the timeline. Crossover, loses the ball. It's Colvin who comes up with it. Had it knocked away by Muldoon, but then Colvin recovers. The dish to the corner. 3 ball too strong from Cole Loudon. It's Davidson who collects the rebound for Blackhawk. That ball was knocked out of bounds. By the way, speaking of the name Davidson, I believe I saw 2 Davidson boys in here tonight to watch their alma mater. I did see Marcus Davidson. I believe I also saw his older brother Frankie Davidson, a former leading scorer for Blackhawk Christian. As First gets the putback here. Josh First does get to double figures, give him 11 points for the game. I mentioned Frankie Davidson was the all-time leading scorer at Blackhawk Christian, but that was surpassed by Caleb First. That's a catch-and-shoot 3, and it's off the mark, the shot taken by Dylan Doss. Matt Roth calling out the play as Pickett's there to set the screen for Sefton. Sefton through traffic from a tough angle, couldn't finish. And Sefton is still down. He remains on the floor behind the baseline. Doss no good. Rebound comes to Colvin, and he's fouled by Pickett. Sefton gets to his feet, but he is grabbing his arm awkwardly, and Laborde, the trainer, is going to go look at him. Oh, boy. He's got some pain in his wrist by the looks of things. I am not a doctor, and I don't play one on TV, but that looks like a broken wrist. We'll pray that it turns out to not be a broken wrist, but that looks like what Sefton is dealing with. Again, I'm not a doctor. I can't definitively say that. That's just what it looks like. Two for two goes Miles Colvin as Aiden Muldoon comes across the timeline. Gets it to Pickett, 1-on-2. Pickett spinning around, too strong. Muldoon at 5'10" pulls down the board, and Muldoon is driving and gets fouled. Aiden Muldoon at 5'10", playing with a lot of fearlessness. 55.2 left to play. The official has some words for the Heritage sideline. Oh, they've spotted a wet spot on the floor. Might have been back where Gage Sefton fell down. He was down on the deck behind that baseline for quite some time and probably had some sweat from his jersey over there. And again, certainly hope that it's not a broken wrist that Gage Sefton had, but he was in a lot of pain. He was kind of holding his wrist awkwardly as he walked off the court. He was able to walk off the court, thank goodness. But the way he was holding his wrist was rather awkward. You could tell he was in some pain. Certainly hope it's not broken. Whatever the case may be, Gage, we wish you the best. Muldoon goes 2 for 2. Dylan Doss finds some help from Nolan Duncan. Cutting in is Doss. Tried to lean into the shot and gets it back outside to Colvin. Down to 37 seconds as Colvin had two defenders there on him. Long three by Wilson wouldn't fall, and Pickett collects the board for Blackhawk. Here comes Davidson. He'll slow things down. Pickett sets the screen for Davidson, gets it to Muldoon. Pickett, or rather First, goes up and under. Josh First, the senior, getting a big bucket there. And speaking of big shots, that's Miles Colvin from way downtown to close out the first half. Well, Heritage Christian had kept it close in the first quarter. Blackhawks lead now 14. And we'll go ahead and get a few more words in from our sponsors that allow us to do these games we get to do so often. Tom Steele Tire has been servicing the Fort Wayne area for over 40 years. They will help you find the perfect tire for your vehicle and other auto repair services like brakes, wheel alignments, engine diagnostics, and more. At Ottenweller Contracting, we invest in our customers by providing peace of mind during the entire process from bid to build. Visit OttenwellerContracting.com. Summit Volleyball trains and builds the highest quality volleyball players in the area. From ages 5 to 18, our players are equipped with elite level skills and a foundation of life skills. Jump on board. Together we can reach the summit. At Parkview Sports Medicine, it's game on. We serve every level of athlete with our integrated sports medicine team, including the region's only specialized athletic rehab facility. Learn more about our services by logging on to parkviewsportsmedicine.com. Today's broadcast is brought to you by SummitCitySports.com. Follow us on Twitter at 260sports. Like our Facebook page from Summit City Sports. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Braves got a good battle from Heritage Christian in the first quarter, but they now lead it 39-25 at halftime. We'll be back in just a moment. A little first half recap here on SummitCitySports.com.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcast. When the Homestead girls golf team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
Area sports looked a lot different back in 1952 when Jim Kelly opened his first dealership in Fort Wayne. 70 years later, that original dealership has grown into the Kelly Automotive Group with 14 brands in 3 locations, including our new Fort Wayne Auto Mall and Kelly Chevrolet on Lima Road. Fort Wayne continues to support our local teams and businesses. Thank you for 70 years. We could have never done it without you. Visit us today at drivekelly.com.
39-25 in favor of Blackhawk Christian. Beg your pardon there. It was a close game in the first half, but Blackhawk Christian has been able to weather the storm and stretch the lead out to 14 points. They've dealt with a lot of zone defense, some 2-3, some 1-3-1 from Heritage Christian, but they've been able to pull away in the second half. Blackhawk Christian's defense has done a great job holding Heritage to just 25 points. A look at the first half statistics. We've got Miles Colvin for 15 points so far. Landon Schnippel with 2, Luke Peters with 2, Andrew Wiggins with 3. These stats unofficial, of course. For Blackhawk Christian, Gage Sefton is the leading scorer for this game with 13 points. Josh First with 11, Kellen Pickett with 8, Isaac Smith with 3, and Aiden Muldoon with 2. Now it's worth mentioning that Gage Sefton did walk right over to trainer Ann Laborde while he was holding his wrist kind of in midair. He wasn't holding his wrist with the other arm. He kind of was holding his wrist in midair. It was his right wrist, his shooting wrist. And he was holding it kind of awkwardly. Certainly hope his wrist is not broken. Looked like it might have been, though, watching as he walked toward the locker room. Wish the best for Gage Sefton and hope for a quick recovery. Sefton's had a great game so far. Now, Josh First has managed to get himself double figures. Early on, was struggling against some of the zone defenses that Heritage Christian was throwing Blackhawks' way. But First able to make some adjustments and help the Braves as they stretch their lead out. He was also able to knock down his free throws. That's one of the benefits of when your opponents go zone and crowd you in the paint. You might get more opportunities at the free throw line. We'll get a few more words in from our sponsors that allow us to do these games, and we get to do so often on SummitCitySports.com. At Parkview Sports Medicine, it is game on. We are the region's largest integrated sports medicine team, providing athletes specialized services from improving their performance to recovering from injuries. To learn more, go to ParkviewSportsMedicine.com. Online degree programs at the University of St. Francis are built for convenience and flexibility. Most degrees can be completed in 12 months. Visit online.sf.edu for more information. Sioka Cleaning and Restoration provides top-notch commercial cleaning services, including janitorial, water damage, and state-of-the-art disinfecting services throughout Northeast Indiana. Jolly, are you ready to do what it takes to put your past behind you, whether it's expunging your criminal record or helping to get your driver's license reinstated? Jolly Law Firm is your answer. Anderson Heating and Air Conditioning is dedicated to providing the best possible solution for your home or business, a system and solution that fits your unique needs. Visit AndersonCoolHeat.com. Parkview Sports Medicine continues to lead the way in Northeast Indiana. Our specialized sports medicine team offers direct access to physical therapy and sports physicians in our new Parkview Ortho Express Clinic located at the Sport One Parkview Fieldhouse. No referral needed, saving you time and money. Visit ParkviewSportsMedicine.com to learn more. About 3 minutes left before the second half starts. We'll come back after this break on SummitCitySports.com.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our camera. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
I like to stay active. I try to come in here at least 3 times a week and just get my 1-hour workout in. Since September, I think I've put on 22 pounds of muscle. I think my vertical has gone up plus 5 inches. I've gotten a lot faster since then too. I can hit the ball further. In football, I can push people around more. It's basketball easier too. Just being stronger just makes everything easier.
Brandon started with gym rats basketball training. After one of the sessions, he came up to me and he wanted to know if he could do more. So Brandon started the EDGE program in November, in addition to the club training he was doing, because it offers personalized programming for his athletic goals. PSN Performance uses a long-term athletic development pyramid. At such a young age, it's really good for Brandon to set the foundation of athletic development. Since he is in season all year round, he has to be ready for all the physical demands. So he does a lot more strength training, just because in basketball he sprints and cuts a lot. In baseball he's doing a lot of sprinting. In football he does a lot of sprinting and jumping. So preparing him to withstand the physical demands of those games, he does a lot more strength training.
I like all the lower body stuff the best. I do goblet squats, split squats, back squat, front squat, a lot of those. Tyler knows what's best for me. He always points me in the right direction. He just pushes me to go harder every day.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcasts. When the Homestead Girls Golf Team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
Ready to start the third quarter here from Blackhawk Christian School. They lead Heritage Christian 39-25. Well, good news, Gage Sefton is back on the floor, so looks like maybe his wrist is not broken, as Josh First able to score early on in the game. Number 13 has 13 points for Blackhawk Christian in this game. Doss has Davidson on him. He gets it over to Cole Loudon. Hands it back off to Dylan Doss. Spinning around is Colvin without the basketball. They get it to him on the baseline. He's got Sefton guarding him. Colvin with a reverse puts it home. Miles Colvin trying to engineer a comeback for Heritage. He's got 17 points as Sefton gets around the defender, gets to the basket and scores. The wrist looked fine there. Colvin, the pull-up jumper right over Sefton, no good, and Davidson has the board. Get it back to Sefton. It is good to see that he's back in on the court. He left the game holding his wrist awkwardly as he left the court back in the second quarter, but again, good to see him back. His first leans in with a hook shot and scores. Josh First, another bucket this half, give him 15 for the game. Looked like they had him one-on-one that last possession. Slowing down is Loudon, and a foul is called. That's going to be on the Braves, I think. They call it on Gage Sefton. It's his second so far. 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. By the way, if you're wondering what the pink theme is from the student section over there, just talked with Joe Cotton over at halftime. Turns out it's not a breast cancer awareness or pink out type of event. Just something that the students decided to do. So you sop up a wet spot there on the court. It's going to be Landon Schnippel to put the ball in play for Heritage. This 18-point lead is the largest lead Blackhawk Christian has had. Heritage had a tough battle with him early on. That's Sefton again who commits the foul. And, oh my goodness, Colvin, he's down on the court, down on his knee. Colvin thankfully able to get up, but the way he reacted looked like he took a shot in the eye. He's trying to, as best as I can put it, shake that off as much as he can and get back to the free throw line. Well, Colvin, easily the leading scorer in this game for Heritage. He's got 18 points so far. Colvin goes 2 for 2 from the stripe. He averages over 20 points per game. He's close to 20 for this one. He's got 19. Foul is called. Smith got bumped by Colvin. He was ready to take it the other way and jam it down. We'll update the scoreboard here. It should be 45-29. It is Blackhawk Christian leading, but leading by 16 points. As First gets it away from the bucket, swings it outside to Sefton. Sefton finds Davidson. Smith has hit 1 3 so far in the game. He's 1 for 2 from beyond the arc, and that's a specialty of his. First off the feed, a little bit too strong. He got his own miss. The putback is good. Josh First battling on the glass as he so often does. Give him 17 points for the game. Colvin fires a deep 3. That's off the mark, and First has the board. Sefton to the corner for Pickett. He's hit 1 3 already, not that time. And Colvin comes up with a loose ball. It was kept alive initially, but Colvin with a quick motor gets down the floor and gets fouled. Colvin could not connect. Luke Peters will re-enter the game for Heritage. A lot of state championship banners here at Blackhawk Christian, including one from this year with the volleyball team winning state back in the fall. Blackhawks also got 2 state championships in boys basketball from 2019 and 2021. Mark Davidson was a head coach leading both of those. First into the paint. The floater, it's blocked, but a foul is called. That's on Luke Peters.
Eagle fouls on number 24, Peters. That's his first. Second, the line for Braves, number 13, Josh First, shooting 2.
4:25 to go in this third quarter as First goes to the line. And First just gets that one to drop. That gives him 18 points for this game, and First goes right back to the line. 2 for 2 he goes. Braves have a 20-point lead now. 19 for First in the game. A baseline drive by Colvin. Cole Loudon for 3. That's off the mark. Poked around, and Davidson's got the board. Trying to find Sefton. The pass is behind him, and Sefton upset with himself that that one got away. There's Miles Colvin. He has easily been the leading scorer for Heritage in this game. Late pass, and the basket goes for Nolan Duncan. Sefton around the screen from Pickett. The dish to First. First up and under, curls it in. First got around the defender and was able to hit the reverse. 21 for First. Pull up 3, and Colvin knocks it down. Miles Colvin's over 20 points for the game. He's got 22. As Sefton will come across the timeline for Blackhawk Christian. Blackhawk doesn't have a 3 this half. Davidson able to find Pickett. Smith is calling for it. That's a double dribble. That was a pretty obvious call. Looked like Pickett had Sefton wide open, or excuse me, Smith wide open, but couldn't quite get it to him. They slip it outside to Loudon. Foul is called, and that will send Nolan Duncan to the free throw line. We'll see who they get. It's going to be on Pickett. 2:46 to go in the third quarter. Some of the other championship banners hanging here in the gymnasium at Blackhawk are from the sport of baseball. 3 baseball state championships, one from 2002, the others from 2005 and 2006. If I'm not mistaken, Mark Harmon was the head coach on those teams. He's now the principal here at Blackhawk Christian School. 0 for 2 goes Nolan Duncan at the line. Sefton, the lob to First. First able to get position but missed the shot. He gets his own rebound though. Blocked on the way up. First was fouled. That putback by Pickett will not count.
Eagle fouls on number 24, Luke Peters. That's his second, team third. At the line for the Braves, number 13, Josh First, shooting 2.
2:34 to go in this quarter as First looks to continue his impressive night. He'll add to it at the free throw line, give him 22 points. Two for 2 goes First on that trip to the line. 23 for him. A pull-up 3 by Colvin, and he buries another one. How do you cool him off? Well, Colvin has had his night, but it's a 16-point lead for the Braves as Sefton is able to find Pickett against that full-court press. Foul is called early on. It was Blackhawk Christian who was using a lot of full court pressure. Eagles appear to be ramping up some of that press. By the way, Heritage Christian is coached by Brandon Coffer. Warren Wallace was the head coach. He resigned recently and handed the duties over to Brandon Coffer. That courtesy of athletic director Stephanie Gillett, as Pickett misses the shot. Well, the ball is in Colvin's hands, and the way he shot it today, he's certainly capable of engineering a comeback for these Heritage Christian Eagles. Pull up three, contested one at that, doesn't matter. Colvin connects. He shot it right over Sefton. Colvin's got 28 points. First on the baseline, spinning around, couldn't finish. Going for his own miss, didn't get it. It's Colvin the other way, gets past Sefton, and then jams it home. That's 5 straight points for Colvin. I've got him for 30, but right back the other way goes Gage Sefton. Sefton's got 17 points for this one, and a big bucket as Colvin was engineering a comeback there for Heritage. He's going to need some help if the Eagles want to come back and win this one. Dylan Doss with a miss from downtown there. 50 seconds to go in the third. And here is Davidson. He finds Sefton. Sefton will let it fly, but he missed the three. That was a deep triple. And now a chance to make it a 10-point game, but Eagles not going for a three right away. Andrew Wiggins gets the bucket. 27 seconds to go. We'll see if Blackhawk tries to take some time off the clock this time. They've got it down to 20. First comes out to set the screen. The dish outside to Davidson. Sefton goes inside to First. First throws it up. And we're going to get a foul. Looks like it's against the Braves. Jimmy Davidson called for the foul. Heritage Christian can get this game back to single digits with any bucket here except for a free throw, as Aiden Muldoon will come in for the Braves. Colvin comes across the timeline. Will he be the one to take the shot? He will. A deep three it is. Wouldn't go. The putback doesn't go either. And the third quarter comes to an end with Blackhawk Christian still leading by 11, but Heritage on a comeback trail. They've got it to an 11-point game. We're back after this for the start of the fourth quarter on SummitCitySports.com.
Sports looked a lot different back in 1952 when Jim Kelly opened his first dealership in Fort Wayne. 70 years later, that original dealership has grown into the Kelly Automotive Group with 14 brands in 3 locations, including our new Fort Wayne Auto Mall and Kelly Chevrolet on Lima Road. Fort Wayne continues to support our local teams and businesses. Thank you for 70 years. We could have never done it without you. Visit us today at drivekelly.com.
Ready for the start of the fourth quarter here at Blackhawk Christian School, and the Braves do have an 11-point lead, but the Eagles of Heritage Christian looking for a come from behind. They were down by 20 in the third quarter. They've got it down to 11, and Heritage starts the fourth quarter with the basketball. Colvin has largely engineered that comeback. His three doesn't fall. Battle for the board. It's won by Isaac Wilson. Wilson fakes the three as Smith closes in on him. Doss puts it up. Tough shot, but a foul. They call it on Muldoon. Does seem rather late, but foul is called nonetheless, just 26 seconds into the fourth. Huge free throw there for Dylan Doss as he tries to get Heritage Christian into single digits. He can do that with a make here. That's Muldoon's second foul. Two for two goes Dylan Doss. And don't look now, but after being down by 20, Heritage is within 9. It's Sefton running the point for Blackhawk Christian. He finds Pickett. Blocked! Luke Peters knocks it away. They go quick down the floor looking for Wilson. Heritage looking for a come from behind. Had a game last week where New Haven came back against Huntington North after being down 19. There's Muldoon at 5'10", crashing in for another board. Muldoon looking for help. Everybody's well guarded, and miscommunication leads to a turnover. It goes right over the hands of first, and Matt Roth is going to call his first timeout. While he calls a timeout, we'll also take one on SummitCitySports.com.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Area sports looked a lot different back in 1952 when Jim Kelly opened his first dealership in Fort Wayne. 70 years later, that original dealership has grown into the Kelly Automotive Group with 14 brands in 3 locations, including our new Fort Wayne Auto Mall and Kelly Chevrolet on Lima Road. Fort Wayne continues to support our local teams and businesses. Thank you for 70 years. We could have never done it without you. Visit us today at drivekelly.com.
55-46. Blackhawk Christian does have the lead. However, their lead was 20 earlier in the game as Colvin slashes through, missed the shot, and then Peters gets fouled. And Peters will go to the free throw line. Was fouled on the shot. Call the foul on Kellen Pickett. It's the 7th team foul this half against Blackhawk Christian. Peters couldn't connect on the free throw. Missed the second one, and Pickett outfought first there, his own teammate, for that board. 0 for 2 there from the line goes Peters. Muldoon looking for Pickett. He finds him. Pickett with the spin move scores. Much needed bucket for the Braves as the Eagles were on the comeback trail. Pickett gets up to 10 points for the game. Wiggins finds Colvin, and Colvin will let it fly. His jumper doesn't go, and Pickett has the board. First, double teamed. Looking to go to work and finds Sefton. Pickett going baseline. Gets it to Smith. Smith sets the screen for Muldoon. Smith finds First away from the block. First trying to make a move inside. Finds Muldoon. His shot comes up short. And Peters has the rebound for Heritage. And a foul is called. That will send Dylan Doss to the free throw line.
Blackhawk foul, number 2, Muldoon, 6-13. At the line for the Eagles, number 3, Dylan Doss, shooting 2.
Dylan Doss can get it back to a single-digit game. He does make the first one. I believe it was Doss who made it a single-digit game not too long ago this quarter. Two for two goes Doss. Well, Blackhawk Christian's going to be off until next Saturday. They'll take on Antwerp, and that's a quality team from Ohio. Sefton tried to feed it to first at the last second. Looked like it went off of Blackhawk, but the officials say it went off of Heritage. Check this afternoon, Antwerp's record is 16-3. And that's a team from Ohio, the Green Meadows Conference. That's a live ball. First is able to pick it up. Davidson across the timeline. Long three, Isaac Smith got it. Isaac Smith hits a big one. And it's actually a 12-point lead, but Smith gets his second three of the ball game. He's 2 for 3 in addition. Colvin, the dish as he was driving. And Doss will fire the three, and he answers. Right back at you, Dylan Doss. I believe that's his first field goal of the game, certainly his first three. And once again, it's a 9-point game. Heritage not going away. They've won their last two, trying to make it a 3-game winning streak as Davidson hits the runner. Jimmy Davidson, the son of the late Mark Davidson, former head coach here at Blackhawk Christian. The brother of Frankie and Marcus Davidson. I believe both those guys are in the building tonight. They go to Grace. Missed dunk by Colvin. Boy, has that been rare tonight. Davidson lost it in transition. First trying to gather it. Did he just commit the foul? It looks like he did. Indeed, it is on first, and that's his third.
At the line for the Eagles, number 10, Landon Schnippel, shooting one and the bonus. Timeout, Eagles.
A timeout taken by the Eagles. That's their second timeout used today. Brandon Kaufer using that one. We'll take a break along with him.
Sports looked a lot different back in 1952 when Jim Kelly opened his first dealership in Fort Wayne. 70 years later, that original dealership has grown into the Kelly Automotive Group with 14 brands in 3 locations, including our new Fort Wayne Auto Mall and Kelly Chevrolet on Lima Road. Fort Wayne continues to support our local teams and businesses. Thank you for 70 years. We could have never done it without you. Visit us today at drivekelly.com.
A 62-51 lead for Blackhawk Christian at home against Heritage Christian. Braves trying to get a 2-game winning streak going. They had a 2-game losing streak going when they lost to Bishop Dwenger and Wayne. That Dwenger game was their last home game. And Wayne is battling for first place in the SAC. They beat Homestead on Tuesday night. At the free throw line here is Landon Schnippel. And again, Heritage gets it back to a 9-point game at the free throw line. Though I don't believe Heritage has a made shot from the field in this fourth quarter yet. Sefton uses the screen from Pickett. Pickett able to find Smith. Smith had some trouble with it at first. Smith sets the screen for Sefton. Sefton, the floater, that's goaltending. That ball looked like it was on the way down. and Sefton will get the bucket. For Gage Sefton, he is up to 19 points with that goaltend, and we'll look to show this to you when we get a chance. But that ball clearly looked like it was on the way down. Waiting a while is Colvin. Or excuse me, that's Colvin now with the basketball. It was Doss who was waiting, trying to keep time from coming off the clock. Falling away, Colvin connects. How do you slow him down? He's at 32 points for the game. Sefton, excuse me, that's Smith from the corner. His three is too strong. Sefton there to chase it down. Extra possession for the Braves. That's Pickett into the paint. Comes up short. Cole Loudon with the rebound. He finds Colvin. Spotting up for three is Doss. That won't fall. And Pickett grabs the board as Davidson tipped it up in the air for him. Here's Sefton. Colvin will come to guard him. That's one quality guard guarding another. Driving to the basket is Davidson. Knocked out of bounds off the hands of Landon Schnippel. Ball will stay with Blackhawk Christian. 2:32 left to go. Sefton gets the inbound, and that's knocked out of bounds. And that apparently was off of Loudon. Possession continues for Blackhawk. 2:30 to go. Spotted in the air. Sefton tried to keep it alive. It's a turnover. Colvin up ahead for the jam. Heritage Christian still battling. They've cut it down to 7. Sefton across the timeline. Swings it back outside to Davidson. Pickett calling for it. They go to first, and first was fouled from behind. That's the 5th team foul against Heritage. So no free throws coming up here. That was definitely not in the act of shooting. And you got one of the Heritage managers, I believe, to go and fix the net. Davidson looks to inbound. And he's going to call a timeout. It's only the second timeout Blackhawk has used in this game. And while they take one, we'll also take one on SummitCitySports.com. Beg your pardon, actually. We'll go ahead and show you this goaltend that we had moments ago. This was Gage Sefton driving to the basket. You'll see here the shot goes up. And that looks like it's on the way down, very close to the rim. And at that point, it doesn't matter whether it looks like the shot's going in. If it's going down and you hit it, it's goaltending. Well, Blackhawk Christian trying to survive this game. They had a 20-point lead. That lead is now down to 7. Blackhawks got a big game against Antwerp High School. If I'm not mistaken, their record is 16-3, maybe 16-4, and they are from the great state of Ohio, from the Green Meadows Conference. That'll be a week from today when Blackhawk Christian plays Antwerp, and that is their next game. Jimmy Davidson will inbound. Sefton gets around the defender, Colvin. Pickett with an open three, no good. Door is open for Heritage to make a comeback as Loudon drives through the paint. It's blocked by Pickett, no good. The Heritage crowd wants a goaltending call. None is made. Davidson able to get across the timeline to Sefton. And then a foul is called. Well, we'll take a look at that replay. It's also brought to you by Traction Athletic Performance. Let's take a look at this block by Pickett. Was it goaltending? Was it not? I'm not sure. That one might have been on the way up. The Heritage crowd was livid that a goaltend wasn't called as Sefton comes across the timeline. He finds first. Sefton slips it through to Davidson. Davidson had trouble with it. Pickett spinning in. He has the ball knocked away, and that's going to be a foul. Cole Loudon is called for the foul.
Number 4, Kellen Pickett, shooting 2. Returning to action for the Eagles, number 30,
Andrew Wiggins will come back in. 1:15 left to go in this one, as Pickett could not connect. Pickett does connect on that one. Kellen Pickett's got 11 points in the game. As Colvin pulls up for the jump shot, no good. Loose ball out of bounds, touched last by Blackhawk, apparently by Davidson. Door is still open for a comeback for Heritage, but now there's 61 seconds to go. Braves had a 20-point lead. That lead is down to 8. Got down as close as 7 in this fourth quarter. Heritage can get even closer than that. Colvin, I think, is claiming he got whacked on the arm. The official not calling a foul there. Dylan Doss for 3. That won't go. Count it, and a foul. Luke Peters. And Heritage Christian has gotten it down to a 6-point game. They can get it to 5 if Peters hits this free throw. 56.8 to go. The JV game went into overtime between these two schools. But the free throw doesn't fall, and Davidson collects the board. Davidson finds Pickett. Looks like the Eagles are in a 2-3 zone, and Sefton is fouled. That's the 8th team foul. This will be 1 and 1. Luke Peters called for the foul. Andrew Wiggins is back in. And huge free throws coming up for Gage Sefton. He got the first one. Sefton had the injury scare earlier when it looked like he might have broke his wrist, but he's back in the ball game. He's looking to finish the deal. He goes 2 for 2 from the line here. 21 points for Gage Sefton, and Dylan Doss will come across the timeline to find Peters. Peters on the edge of the paint hits the jump shot. And a timeout taken by the Eagles with 30.9 seconds to go. They are down to 2 timeouts left for the game. We'll take a timeout with them on SummitCitySports.com.
Sports looked a lot different back in 1952 when Jim Kelly opened his first dealership in Fort Wayne. 70 years later, that original dealership has grown into the Kelly Automotive Group with 14 brands in 3 locations, including our new Fort.
Is Blackhawk Christian ball, 67-61. Sefton trying to beat the press. He fires to Pickett. First to the paint. Puts it home. Josh First trying to help the Braves close it out. Long 3. Dylan Doss knocks it down. Second 3 of the game for Doss. And the Eagles have gotten it down to a 5-point game. Well, just when the Braves had the answer from Josh First, the Eagles get an answer of their own. We'll Take a look at a couple of replays here. This was the previous inbound where Luke Peters was able to get in for the offensive board. Get to the line for a chance at a three-point play. He did not complete the three-point play, but he did get the putback there off the miss. And then moments ago, Braves go quick down the floor with Josh first. And First is able to finish in the paint. 12.2 seconds left to play. 10-second violation is still in play. However, if the Braves were to commit one, there would only be 2.2 seconds left on the clock. A 5-point game, the Braves just looking to get the ball across the timeline, but Sefton will get fouled here with 11 seconds to go. Miles Colvin is called for that foul. That's the 9th team foul. Colvin commits his 3rd, and Colvin has been an outstanding player in this game. He's got 34 points. Isaac Wilson will come back in for the Eagles. Sefton's free throw doesn't fall. Colvin quick up the floor to Doss. Doss the 3. It's off the mark. Colvin has the putback. He's going to fire a 3. It's no good. The clock's going to run out. Blackhawk Christian is going to win this game. A close game in the end. A big comeback effort by Heritage Christian, but Blackhawk Christian is your winner. A furious comeback by the Eagles. Blackhawk Christian's able to hold it off. Blackhawk Christian improves to 17-3 on the season, and they win their 2nd straight. For Heritage Christian, they have a 2-game winning streak snapped by the Braves, as Blackhawk Christian will have the rest of the week off of games, and then a week from tonight they'll host Antwerp, a team out of Ohio, out of the Green Meadows Conference in Ohio. But Blackhawk wins tonight 69-64. That game against Antwerp, by the way, will be a marquee matchup as Antwerp is 16-4 on the season thus far. For our Parkview Sports Medicine player of the game, we're going to recognize Gage Sefton. He scores 21 points in the game and also had to come back from what looked like a very scary wrist injury. It appears as though the wrist was not broken. Looked at first like it might be, but he's able to finish off the game. Gage Sefton battling through injury and coming up with 21 points in the victory. He's your Parkview Sports Medicine player of the game. The Braves win it by a score of 69-64 over Heritage Christian, and that'll do it from Blackhawk Christian School. For my cameraman Carson Watkins, this is Thad Goff saying so long from BCS.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcast. When the Homestead Girls Golf Team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
Area sports looked a lot different back in 1952 when Jim Kelly opened his first dealership in Fort Wayne. 70 years later, that original dealership has grown into the Kelly Automotive Group with 14 brands in 3 locations, including our new Fort Wayne Auto Mall and Kelly Chevrolet on Lima Road. Fort Wayne continues to support our local teams and businesses. Thank you for 70 years. We could have never done it without you. Visit us today at drivekelly.com.